So what allowed me to get clipped a couple times. So I'm there to put on a show. If I would have pulled back and stopped throwing a little bit, I think the fight could have been a little bit more stagnant. But who the hell wants to watch that? I'm here to have fun. I'm here to challenge myself. And I have to have that output in order to go out there and try to win this fight. And there wasn't 1 second of this fight I wasn't trying to win. I chased him around that cage the entire 5th round. He went for a shot and wanted to hold me against the cage in the 5th round to make sure he sealed that win. And, that shows smarts on his part. He's taken a page out of my book in the sense of fighting. I still don't think he's the sharpest tool in the shed, but that doesn't mean he can fight. He can't fight. And that's the thing that I know about this, is you can be as smart as you want on the outside, but when it comes into there, it's still a scrap. But I was there in the scrap too, so the way I see it is I got the smarts and I got the fight in me, so I'm still here and I'm still in it.
When we see a dominant champion in the UFC suffer a defeat, I think there's a lot of attention in the immediate aftermath of how quickly are they going to rebound. In the main event, of course, we saw Ronda Rousey coming back from a long layoff. Conor McGregor, on the other hand, seemed to step on the gas after his defeat to Nate Diaz. As soon as you're healthy, how quickly would you like to get right back into the flow of things?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think I've proven that whole rust thing doesn't exist. You can say what you want about after this win tonight, but it just doesn't. It really is made up by the weak-minded, and I hate to say it, but sometimes the media. I'm part of the media at this point with all you guys out there, and I can tell you that's made up. So if I need to take a year off, I'll take a year off. If I want to come back in 6 months, I'll come back in 6 months. I got my coaches here. I got the best coaches in the world, the best teammates in the world at Alliance Training Center. I still say Jeremy Stevens hits way harder than that guy, but it was a game of inches tonight, and I lost. And it's, this is the way it goes. It was good to be able to at least fight somebody with a good heart. I say what I want about the guy, about his smarts and whatnot, but he does have a good heart, and that's important. So enjoy being at the top, Cody. You're a young champion. Try to keep it. That's tough. Let's see what you do with it.
Hey, Dominic. We're here.
What's up?
It's been almost exactly 10 years since you last lost. What does it feel like?
Kind of feels like my knee injuries. It's similar to that. Except I don't really know. It's so quick right now. I don't really know yet. It's not fair to even tell you that. I have a feeling it's going to hurt worse in a couple of days. But one thing I am happy about is I get to see who's real around me. When I had my knee injuries, it was a reality check. A lot of people leave your side. A lot of the support leaves you. Let's see who's real out there, who really loves me, who really cares about me, who really has my back, whether I win, lose, or have a draw. And the real people are about to show themselves to me, and for that, I'm happy. I got to find the positive in this stuff because I did challenge myself very heavy. There's nothing about this trek that I've taken since my comeback that has been easy. Not one fight, not Faber, not Dillashaw especially, and definitely not Cody. So what can you do, man? I mean, this is part of it, is losing, and part of life is losing. I think everybody here can say one time or another, maybe not in a fight, but you felt like a loser. And how do you come back from it? Let's see, I know myself. I've lost before. It has been a long time, but I'm confident in my abilities. I'm confident in my mind. I'm confident at where I stand with everybody else in this division, and I know Cody's good. So the question I want to say is, how long can Cody stay on top?
And in January, when you won the belt, you said that the greatest moment of your life was when you realized you didn't need the belt to be happy. And so now you don't have the belt. And I'm wondering if, and it's hard to obviously really truly gauge this, but had you not gone through those 3 years, the injuries, all those ups and downs, would you be handling the loss the same way, as impressively as you are right now?
I'm not sure, man. That's a good question, Ariel. But I'll tell you this, that after... What I mean by saying that is not that the belt isn't important to me. What I mean by that is it doesn't haunt my life anymore to where I need it. It's a different thing. It has a different point when I say that. It's actually to give strength to anybody who can actually hear the actual point behind it. Some will say, oh, well, that's good. Then he doesn't want it anymore. Well, that couldn't be more wrong. I love being the champion of the world. I love being the best on earth. But I don't need it to be happy, and that actually releases me and keeps me free. I can still be happy in defeat. That's a freedom. I can't say that I've always had that. But I still feel free. I still feel at peace. I'm still happy. I'm still happy that God gave me this this platform to be able to challenge myself as a man and evolve as a man and become a better man. Regardless of what anybody says about prize fighters, every single one of these fights is a life lesson if you look at it and view it right and if you use it correctly. And I use this 8-10 weeks of camp and this challenge in front of the media and saying what you're going to say and backing it up and taking your loss and defeat and all this to grow as a human being. That's why we're here. We're not here just to be the best at everything. We're here to kind of be attached to everything but nothing at the same time. And it sucks to lose. It's the worst feeling in the world. But it doesn't make me, it's not what I survive off of, is being the title holder. I'm a very happy individual outside of that. And for that, I'm thankful.
And just two other quick ones, if I can. Does it at all sting more because it's alpha male?
No, I mean, I've fought these guys how many times? They brought up a younger kid who's been eyeing me for years. He said it himself. I'm not out of this thing. He's still got to fight other guys. He's still got to fight another guy who comes from alpha male who's just as angry as I am. TJ Dillashaw is one pissed off dude no matter what anybody says. So he couldn't be happier that I lost tonight. I guarantee that. And that's okay. I expect that. Let him have a shot if he wants it. It's okay with me. I know I'm not out of this. Cody knows I'm not out of this. TJ knows I'm not out of this. Everybody in the division knows who I am and what I am. And regardless of this loss, if they fight me, they better have their head on straight because I'm coming after them.
And is there any particular reason why you're not sitting down?
Why would I sit down? I'm always on my feet. Thanks, guys.
Cody, certainly a fantastic performance from you tonight. Now that you've had a little time to let it soak in, just give us the thoughts on how it played out tonight.
Played out how exactly I thought I was going to. You know, Dominick's a great champion. He's arguably one of the best bantamweights to ever grace the octagon. And it was a pleasure going out there and testing my mettle. You know, I had a lot of, what ifs, and I think I solved every one of them.
I think a lot of people thought that, of course, his cardio is kind of legendary, and would you be able to keep up that pace over 5 rounds? And you definitely started, kind of a very intense pace to start out with, and excitable, and all those things. I mean, did you have to settle yourself down a little bit and get into a rhythm to be able to make it that full 5 rounds?
You know what? I come from Team Alpha Male, and that's something they pride themselves on, is a world-class cardio. And that's something that I've always prided myself on since the beginning of wrestling days, boxing days, that the pace that I would push and set and training, my opponents and adversaries wouldn't be able to keep up. And I'm forever grateful for my teammates and coaches to push me day in and day out to keep that cardio and keep that push and to sharpen my skills. So that was never a question. I fight ferocious. I fight like that from first round to fifth round. I was just getting my lungs warmed up. Give me 5 more rounds. I was running back. Give me 25 more minutes. I would love to do it. I enjoyed it. I was living in the moment, and it was great to go in there and fight one of the best in the world and do what I did.
There were a couple times you really had him in trouble, but you didn't overcommit. I mean, was that the plan going in, or did you just not necessarily see the openings for the finish? Why not necessarily, rush all out for the finish?
You know what? I was having so much fun in there. I kind of just got caught up in the fight, and he's hurt a lot. I could have jumped on him, took his back, knocked him out, but he's tough. He's here for a reason. He's the best in the world, and he's done what he's been able to do. It's Dominick Cruz, and I knew he was tough. He's got a big old head, so I know he can absorb a lot of punishment. And he was tough. We were talking back and forth every time we'd hit one of each other, and I loved it. That was fun. I remember looking in the third round when he had blood spewing down his face, and like I said, he was chattering back and forth with me the whole fight, and I said, "You having fun yet?" And he didn't answer me, and I knew right there that was my fight.
And despite the trash talk in the lead up to this, and then even in the fight tonight, it seemed like you guys did have a little bit of respect for each other afterwards. Can you kind of share what that was like?
Man, if he would have went out there and whooped my ass, I would have shook his hand and his coaches and did the same, humble in victory and humble in defeat. But he made me a better person, a better fighter, and that's what it is. I generally don't like the guy. He said a lot of ill words, and like I said, I was going to make him eat every single thing. And it was a great fight. I think we put on a good fight, entertained the crowd, and went out there and delivered a performance, both of us. And like I said, I have a lot of respect for him. Always did, but I knew my responsibilities going in there, and that was to get the win and do what I had to do. But like I said, I have respect for him. He was a great champion. He wouldn't be here this long if he wasn't.
And lastly, for me, it does seem like TJ Dillashaw feels he's the number one contender. Of course, you mentioned his name in the cage afterwards. I mean, is that the fight that you think makes the most sense next? And certainly you deserve some time to enjoy this moment. But, I mean, are you already thinking about when a fight like that could take place? You know what? I had so much fun in there. Don's been arguably the best bantamweight in the world. Let's run that shit back. I say let's give him an ultimate, immediate rematch, and so he can go off in his next chapter of his career and do that. Like I say, he's been great. I would like to give Dominick Cruz a rematch, but it's ultimately up to UFC. But I'm the champion now. I'm the badass dude in my division, so I call the shots.
Cody, back here to your left.
Hi, oh boy.
Congratulations, of course, on the win. Kind of walk me through that third and fourth round, because that's really where you started to take over. The first and second were a little closer, but then the third, it seemed like you definitely won the third, and then you had the knockdowns the fourth. Did you just have a moment in there where you said, this is it, I'm winning this fight?
Here's the thing. I always was comfortable in there. I was just really curious to see his speed, his angles, and everyone believed the hype of him being he's the Matrix, he's a ghost in there. Man, he's great. I'm not taking nothing away from him, but I was almost in shock that he was slow as he was, and his movements and angles and weren't there. Like I said, I kind of was in shock, so I was kind of like, all right, I'm still in here. We're still here fighting. But my coach, Justin Buckle, said, look, the two kicks there, he's leading his head in there. I threw that kick and busted his scalp open with a knee, and blood was running down his face, and that's when it changed right there. He did not like that blood running down his face, and that's when I said, Dominick, are you having fun yet? And he didn't answer me. But in the first and second round, he would answer me back each time. So that's right then I knew that he was not having fun in the fight. I had to keep the forward pressure and stick to my game plan. Don't get overjealous. Don't go for the knockout. Don't go for the kill. And like I said, I was enjoying it in there. I had so much fun. Great competitor, great champion. It was an honor to fight him.
Going into it, everyone made so much of his trash talk, the things he was saying, kind of getting you heated. And I know you had told me beforehand that that's just normal for you. You don't mind that. You like the emotion of that. But then inside the cage, you were the one kind of taunting him and pointing at the cage and things like that. I mean, did you kind of feel that in that moment where all that kind of trash talk came back around, where you were kind of having it inside the octagon?
You know what? Like I said, I was just living in the moment. I was having fun out there and enjoying it. And, it was a great fight. I had so much fun in there. But, he's a great shit talker. He knows he knows a lot of good words. He speaks well. Shit, I couldn't read till I was in the third grade. I barely graduated high school, so I knew what I was getting into with him. I just knew I didn't get emotional and let his words and his trash talk, get me emotional in there. I know I had to stick to my game plan and my strategy, and I knew I would take over. I'm the more dominant, faster. I'm the better fighter in there, and that proved from one round to the fifth round.
Obviously, after the fight, you handed the belt to Maddox. I know that was a really special moment for you. We've talked about it numerous times. I mean, what was that like for you? Because, he walked you out for the fight with Henry Briones. Now, you said the next time he would walk you out would be for the title, and you would hand him the championship. What was that moment like for you after all the years you spent with him?
It was a surreal moment, It was something I'll never forget in the rest of my life. No matter what happens in my life, I'm very thankful for this kid. He came into my life on unfortunate circumstances, and for most of you who don't know, he's battling leukemia at the age of 5 years old, and from my hometown, and we met on those circumstances, but we made the best of it. I wouldn't be here without him. He gave my life redirection and and purpose. And in return, I fought with purpose and lived every day with more purpose. And this kid, was going through